amazing artist. I hope you are having an awesome day today, and welcome to a brand new project or a brand new technique that we're going to learn today. We are going to be making butterflies, or I'm going to make a butterfly. If you're at home, you can really do this technique using whatever shape or design that you want to. So what you're going to need to do this is a big piece of paper. It actually could be a smaller piece of paper. It's just easier when it's a little bit larger. And what I've done is I've folded this paper in half horizontally. I did not fold it in half vertically. You could do that, but I want this to be a butterfly, and butterflies are a lot wider than they are taller. So I've chosen to do mine horizontally. You're gonna fold it in half, and you're gonna draw on one side half of whatever it is that you're trying to make. So in my case, I'm gonna do a butterfly, but maybe you wanna do a sun, or maybe you wanna do a flower. If you wanna do a different object, you're just gonna draw half of your flower on one side of your paper, because this is going to be a printmaking technique that we're going to learn, and it's called monoprinting. Monoprinting is when you can only print one line or one shape at a time, and you can only print it once. So what I have over here is some black paint. You can use any colors that you want to, but I'm going to use black today, and a paintbrush. And I'm using tempera paint, but you can use any kind of paint that you want. I don't think watercolor would work very well with this technique, but some kind of thicker paint like acrylic or tempera paint would work great. So what I'm going to do after I've drawn whatever it is that I'm trying to create, in my case it's a butterfly, I'm going to take just a little bit of paint. I'm not going to glob the paint on my paintbrush, just take a little bit of paint at a time, and I'm going to paint over top of my pencil line here, and I'm just going to do one line at a time. So basically I'm painting or tracing with my paint right on top of that pencil line. Now I'm not going to do this entire shape at first, because if this paint dries, then our technique of monoprinting is not going to work. So we have to work pretty quickly. So I'm just focusing on this one line at the top here. I'm adding a little bit more paint. Do you think you need a lot of paint? No, you don't need a lot of paint. We want it to be shiny before we print it, and I'm going to show you how to print it in a second. Make sure it's shiny, because if it's not shiny anymore, then that means your paint has dried. So I've just added a little bit more paint on this line. And we're not going to do the whole thing, remember, just do one part at a time. And I can see my paint is shiny, so what I'm going to do is I am going to fold my paper in half, and I'm going to massage that paper, or right where I put the paint. I'm going to use my hands, and I'm going to massage it gently, just going around making sure that paint is touching the other half of my paper. Because whenever we open it up, let's look what happens actually. Let's see. It printed the same exact line over here. Now I have that part done of my butterfly. Now I'm gonna do another section. So starting right back where we left off, by the way, my paintbrush is never, ever, ever going to touch the other side of my paper. The only side my paintbrush is going to touch is this side where the pencil is. Are you gonna put your paintbrush on the blank side? No, because that's where our printing is gonna go. Over here is where our painting is gonna go. So I'm gonna paint another section of my butterfly. Remember, we don't want this paint to dry, so we have to go pretty quickly, but I am still trying my best. I'm not going crazy with my paintbrush. I'm trying to go slow so that I can trace this line pretty well, but not too slow, because if you go too slow, then that paint is gonna dry. So I can see it, it's very shiny, so that means it's still wet. If it's not shiny anymore, then that means it has dried. So make sure your paint is shiny, and then guess what? We are gonna fold it again and massage right where we painted that line on our paper. Massage it down. You gotta massage it pretty good, because if you don't press it down and massage it, then that paint is not going to stamp or transfer or print on the other side of our paper. So I'm gonna massage it for a few seconds until I feel confident that I've massaged it enough, and I'm gonna open it up carefully to see Look at that, it's printed on the other side, and it might have some white sections. That's just where your paint has dried a little bit faster than the other areas, and that's totally fine. We're not going to try to fill in those white spaces with our paintbrush, because can our paintbrush go on this side? No, our paintbrush can only go on the side with our drawing on it. So if you have some white areas over here, that is totally fine. Now we have a little bit of a section down here to go, and we'll be done with the outline of our butterfly. So I'm going to go ahead and do this small section down here, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. There is my symmetrical butterfly shape. When something is symmetrical, it means it is the same on both sides. So now, after I get the wings for my butterfly, I can go in and add some more details. But remember, our paintbrush is only gonna stay on this side. It's never gonna touch the other side. This is our printed side, and this is our paintbrush side. So if we think of a butterfly, I'm gonna think of what a butterfly has, and they have a head. So I'm gonna do half of a head on this side, and if I think of a head, I think it's mainly a circle, so it's half of a circle on this side, and then we are going to print it on the other side, which means I'm going to fold my paper in half again, and massage and massage and massage, and then open it up, and there is my butterfly's head. I'm going to do the same for his body. His body is kind of a long shape, so I'm going to go under his head, and I'm going to paint a body for him. Am I going to paint him on this side? No, I'm only going to paint half of his body on this side. Make sure your paint is shiny so that we know it's wet. And then I am going to print, and that means I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to massage, 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 and then I'll open it up, and there is my butterfly's body. And it's okay if there's some white spots, right? Yeah. Totally fine. We do not have to fill in those extra white spaces. Butterflies also have antennas, which are long lines that come off of their head. So I'm just going to draw one on half of my paper, and then I will print it on the other side. Open it back up, and there is our butterfly almost done. If we think of a butterfly, they have patterns on the wings with different lines and different shapes. So you can also add that if you want to. Maybe you want polka dots on your butterfly, or maybe you want a triangle on your butterfly. Whatever you decide to do, you can only paint a little bit at a time, because if you paint the whole entire section, then it might dry. And when you try to print it, it doesn't work when your paint is dry. So I'm just going to do a couple of designs at a time. So I've just done 2 dots and a triangle. So now I'm ready to print. Ooh, and look, it looks so cool on the other side. Do you think it's a good idea to paint this entire thing black? No, because next time you see me, we are going to be coloring these in. So we're just doing the outline of our butterfly and adding some designs on the inside. Maybe you want a zigzag line on one of your wings. The possibilities are really endless with what kinds of designs you can add. So I'm going to go ahead and finish adding the designs to my butterfly, and I will be right back to show you what it looks like. I just finished adding all the designs that I want to. We don't want to add too many designs to the wings, because then we might accidentally fill up all this white space, and we need some white space so that we'll have something to color next week. I kept my designs pretty simple, just a couple dots and shapes and lines here and there, and I just realized that this part of my butterfly right here looks like a happy face, so that is super fun. But you can add any kind of designs that you want to your butterfly. Hope you have a lot of fun learning this really cool monoprinting technique and adding your own artistic, creative ideas to it. I can't wait to see how they turn out. I know they're going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.